We're so pleased to have you joining us today to just view our research and maybe give us some feedback. Before we get into this, I have to ask you to turn off any electronics that you may have brought with you, especially anything that can record, because, well, first of all, that can affect the outcome of the experiment, and also, well, everything you're about to see is the sole property of the Yo-Yo Corporation, whose board is here with us, and they own those results. And well, that's not to say that you're involved in any kind of corporate espionage. Please silence your cell phones. Teamwork. We can agree it's the key to corporate success. But teams can be unbalanced. This drives down output. What's into your pockets? But what if I told you that there was a way to eliminate the human error? To build a perfect team, one that can function smoothly, with no missteps. The Yo-Yo Corporation is pleased to present research on the interpersonal underworld. Just that. So, behavior scientist William Schutz, he studied interpersonal relationships and found that they always went through the same three stages: inclusion, control, and affection. So, just what is an interpersonal relationship? It is defined as a strong connection or association between two or more individuals. Interpersonal relationships, then, form the base of a social group, which in turn is defined as two or more people who interact with each other and share a sense of unity. And it's that unity that you have paid us to find. So let's talk about these three stages. When individuals first meet, they enter the inclusion phase. When they meet, they have to decide, first, I am who I am, you are who you are. Do we want to have a connection at all? If they decide that they will, they enter the control phase. The stage centers on, let's see, power dynamics, conflict, and its resolution. And I want to caution you, though I say conflict and it can look contentious, this is, well, you should think of it more as the natural progression of things rather than any kind of fight. Well, you'll see. The final stage, affection. This is what we promised you. This is when there's no longer any issue of who's in control and who's going to get credit, but rather we are all part of a team and we would like to see this goal reached. Through previous research, we have determined there are 5 personality types that once brought together will form the perfect team. The 5 types are the strategist, the diplomat, the motivator, the self-starter, and the entrepreneur. Now, of course, each of these profiles has their own distinct advantages in the business environment. But when they're brought together, think of it as a spectrum. So on this side, you've got your self-starter and your entrepreneur, types that have a tremendous amount of innovation, initiative, drive. They will come up with a goal, bring it to the group, and try to push things in that direction. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got the diplomat and the motivator. They may not innovate as much, but they will take that goal. They'll incorporate it. They'll try to move the group in the right direction to get there. And right at the center, you've got the strategist making the plan to implement all of their ideas. We profiled hundreds of people. When we brought these 5 together, they were complete strangers. We were very pleased with what we saw in the laboratory in terms of how quickly they could navigate the 3 steps, again, inclusion, control, and affection. We're hoping to reproduce those results for you here today. We believe that once these methods are known, this will transform the corporate world and put Yo-Yo at the cutting edge of this research. So, we invite you now to sit back, relax, and discover the secret of the interpersonal underworld. Oh, I can't wait to discuss these results. That was better than in the laboratory. Right. Thank you so much for your cooperation, subjects. So let's just start at the beginning. Subjects A and E. Now, they form such a quick bond. We honestly didn't know when it went from the inclusion stage to the control phase. It was. Well, I mean, you can't pinpoint it because it's almost instantaneous, and there's just moments of control within the inclusion. Well, I'd like to just show that to you right now. Ladies, would you kindly? It's, yeah, kind of when you first connect exactly this. Right, okay. So, each of the subjects has her own kind of path or an idea, and she can be shifted by the other. This is what we mean by control, but they are immediately working towards something together, which means they decided to have an interpersonal relationship just from the get-go. This is so much faster than we normally expect. Well, we like to chalk this up to exceptional experimental pairing, and I think we chose right. So, while we can't tell you exactly when it turns into the control phase, we can certainly show you when it is very clearly in the control phase. This is such a lot. I just want you to take a look at it, what that looks like more clearly. You know, 5B, where, yeah. This is something really interesting. As you might expect from a pair that works toward control almost initially, their control phase is a little bit more complex than you. Typical, and this is what I want you to look at. Go. A anticipates where E is going to be, puts her there as a strategist would. She never made her intention known either. It was just entirely.
Wait, what?
It happens unconsciously.
I didn't plan that at all.
No.
I mean, didn't you see me push her there?
I
With
did.
my foot?
That is what a motivator does. That's what a strategist does. Again, neither of you is aware that this is happening, but it is. So, well, okay. The partnership pays off is the point. When they do navigate these kind of more difficult interpersonal dynamics. Well, okay, so cooperation. That's what we promised you. That's your return on investment. And these two have it in spades by the end, right? So, okay, first of all, cooperation is defined as the consensual settlement of differences reached by mutual concessions. And it's actually thought to be negative in an evolutionary sense. It's disadvantageous. What you're doing is trading your own selfish interests in the moment for the hope of a bigger payoff later on down the line, maybe for a group goal. So let me show you just what cooperation can accomplish, what it will do for yo-yo time. So the part where you're really taking the gap. See that? See, this is just what we want to see. It's not just cooperation in the moment, it's sustained cooperation. But since we have you here to look at our research today, I'd like to get your opinions. And I'll tell you kind of the sort of thing we're looking for in our reports, just, for our purposes. I noticed that. So if you could state it as, I noticed that. They often return to the same places in space over and over, for example. So what did you notice? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I see. You missed the introduction. So I'm doing research on interpersonal dynamics, and that's what we're trying to show in kind of a movement sense. So if it looks like we're performing, that does make it interesting for our course. Anything else that you noticed? Yes.
I noticed that A and B frequently would smile while they were dancing, and you could really see the bond and connection. I wonder if they were
so glad you said that. You know, it doesn't sound scientific to say so, but I hope that the board noticed, because it's just so refreshing to see. I mean, that's when we say the affection stage, sometimes we mean it literally. Any others before we move on? All right. Thank you so much. We'll make sure to add that to our research. But right now, I'd like to move on to a discussion of the quintet. And before we get to that, let's talk about the tree. So I call it a trio, but it actually starts out with a duet, a solo over here, right? So subject I tests the boundaries of subject O. And sometimes, again, as I told you in the beginning, it might look contentious. That's just what happens sometimes. It's natural. But fortunately, subject O is a diplomat type. Therefore, she's able to redirect this energy in a positive way. And I is an entrepreneur type, which is sort of more ambitious and will not necessarily take somebody else's feelings into account, which gets started on something. So when we see you, subject you, come in later, the three kind of have a hard time working out a dynamic together. They jostle for space and individuality. And we see that now, just when we first meet up. See, it looks a little rough the first time through, doesn't it? This is what I meant in the beginning when I said the inclusion stage includes just deciding if you're even going to have an interpersonal relationship at all, if you even want to associate with each other in the first place. These three aren't sure yet. But they might be getting there. So watch this. When they have something to work toward together, you think, all right, maybe it is worth it. With that in mind, they try things again. See, this time, they're working as people who decided to work together. This is it right here. That's inclusion. Thank you so much. Before we move on, I'd just like to mention that this is a unique group in that it has both an entrepreneur type and a self-starter type. As I said at the beginning, these are on this side of the spectrum with a lot of innovation and initiative and ambition. Well, as I said, they can make their own personal goals into those of the group. And sometimes they do this by going off alone and working things out for themselves for a while. And what this means to us is that they can work solo almost, sometimes they prefer to, instead of just always as a group. And that's the kind of confidence that we're looking for.
Excuse me, I don't feel like I felt so confident. I mean, I made the best of it, but they just pushed me out of the group. I mean, for me, I said that I prefer writing.
That's good to hear, because it means you made they made a strong bond. That's what we were hoping to see. When you were off alone, though, you said you made the best of it. What we were happy to see was that you were able to work it all, that you didn't just give up, that you went off and then brought something back to the group. That's what we were hoping when we put together these five. And, well, speaking of putting together these well, I mean, when you did, everybody came to you because the diplomat is, well, you often do that for everybody, so, you're really good at it. Okay, let's talk about bringing things back to the group, yeah? When that happens? So when subjects A and E come back to the group, they're bringing in their own pre-established dynamic, and, interestingly, we are back to the inclusion phase. Now these five get to decide if they want to work together. So, okay, let's see, it's section 12D is what I have here. Section 12D, See that now. All right. Coercion. Defined as a moment when a personal agenda is forced on others. It can be more difficult than compromise during this phase. Okay, so in my notes here, I've got strategists. Sorry, yes, some of the strategists work with the diplomat. Through, and everything is working kind of along the strategist's line right now. So this is what we hope for from the group. If somebody holds it together. And then this. Subject I's initiative overtakes the group. It negates all of the other attempts at control. This can happen with coercion. It looks like a moment of consensus, but it's actually, the words I wrote were forced unity.
Wait, what do you mean by forced unity? What do you mean by forced unity? Did you see her climb all over us to get to the top? No, don't put this on me. I didn't stomp all over everybody. She started it.
Wait, yeah, I guess I started it.
Yeah, you did. I was like, look, I do what, go where?
Alright. I have been dragged around by everyone here, including you. That may be true. The culprit is this one.
But if we weren't here for her, she would have fallen on her face. I saw the opportunity, and I took it.
I kind of enjoyed how she really did push us forward in something new.
I thought that was the motivator.
You are.
What about the part where you climbed on top of my neck?
No, you dragged me on your back and threw me on the floor.
You pulled me over, and then
Okay, stop. If the diplomat would have done her job,
Alright.
No.
Wait a minute. I sit and start cleaning up all your messes. I didn't ask for this. I could be a strategist.
No.
I could be a self-starter.
And it's,
You be a diplomat.
but we took the test. You're the one that... All right. I think maybe we should open things back up to the audience right now because, again, for our research purposes, it's very important that we get your feedback. So did anybody notice, for example, let's see, I've got a note on this somewhere. How about this? I noticed how often they changed partners. That happened. Anybody else notice anything? It's fine. We're fine, really. This because I mean it all comes out all right in the end. They definitely reached affection. Is there any? But before we get there, did anybody notice anything? On the way to that? Yes. Well, things might appear that way. I am working toward some kind of scientific goal. I assure you. I know the performance isn't maybe. Let's get to the happy ending because it really is. We're so pleased with the way that things worked out. I mean, they achieved perfection. You saw that at the end where, well, okay, 21A. Can we see 21A again, please? It does look good. You have to admit. Right? Right? Everyone's playing for the same team. It's really nice. Okay. Some of the movements from early on return. Granted, it's not always the same types doing that, and they should be able to, but that's okay. I mean, the strategist maybe wouldn't normally play that well. I don't know how she can do it that right now, but that's fine. We can work with this. And subject to definitely to do that the first time or in the laboratory. I don't know how she learned to do that. I and O learned something from A and E. They picked that up. That's a good sign. And all right, here. This is what you paid for. This is what the board wanted to see, right? This is a moment of perfect unity. We're so proud of this, and they sustained it just like we promised. This is what we hoped for when we started this experiment. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that how you want your teams to work? So we brought these five together so that they could do exactly this. Maybe not the same roles that we expected, but okay, I honestly don't know how you did that because you took tests. Because I have charts that can show you what I'm talking about. I mean, it's, because Dr. Schutz is wrong. Well, we can work with this, though. Dr. Schutz was wrong, but no, hang on. Because all this means is that the personality is maybe more malleable than previously thought. Look, we just need to look at this in terms of fluidity that can... Oh, no. Look, this could be revolutionary. You can own the rights to this research. This is important. We have the subjects. We have the lab space. There's no